Put these phones down. All right, let's get some folks on in here. We are going live. This is my first live, you guys. First time going live. So let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to jump straight to it. What's going on, guys? Christopher Manyweather here with Deadstock Barbershop. And today is day 4 of Vlogmas. Going. Yeah, so it's day 4. What I'm doing today is going to be something a little different. Usually I'm the tutorial, or I am a more documentary style YouTuber where I'm talking to you guys like this. But today I have a good friend of mine. His name is David Ward. We've been pretty cool, pretty tight for the last year and a half now. And we have some very interesting conversations about the barber industry, the direction of the industry, things that are trending in the industry, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's pointless. You know, we just talk about everything barbering, and we sit back and we laugh and just have really good conversations. So today what I wanted to do was send him an invite and basically interview my guy and just let you guys in on one of the conversations. It's something that he's brought up to me before, but I really never gave it too much thought because the concept, it sounds ridiculous, but it could be true, it could be false. I just don't know. So what I want to do is let you guys in on this conversation, and I'm going to get my guy in here right now. Let me say. Let's copy this link over, and let's get him in here. So he should be joining any second. Yeah, so this is crazy going live. It's no editing. It's just straight. Let's get in here. Let's do this. He's taking forever to join, of course. Now I got to text him. Say, hurry up, fool. We live. Oh, here we go. All right, it says he's in the green room. Let's bring him on in. David, can you hear me, man? Can you hear me?
You're digital.
Come on.
Oh, there you go. You're good. You're good. What's up, man?
All right, what's going on, bro?
Nothing. Chilling.
We live. I need you to slide over a little bit so you can be
on
the camera.
Let me get the life together. You know, I'm in the bathroom. It's only.
So who do we have here? This is my guy David Ward, Fort Walton's finest. He's the #1 draft pick down in Florida for all your barber needs. You know what I'm saying? My boy is nice, and like I said, we're just really good friends. So I'm happy to have you here with me to share this screen with some of these viewers. A round of applause for my guy David Ward, man. Let the people know a little something about yourself, man. How long you been barbering?
I've only been cutting since 2017, January 2017.
January 2017. And what made you get into it?
Honestly, it was just it wasn't. I'm not gonna give you no crazy story of. I just woke up and I love cutting hair so much. I was in the military. I got out the military. I wanted to just take a year off and kick it, so I ended up going to barbering school. Because I was never like really studious. I didn't really want to go to college, but the Air Force was paying for me to go to school, so I went to barbering school.
Yeah.
And then obviously I was applying for different jobs, trying to do what I was doing in the Air Force. I never got any hits. So by the time I graduated, I was like, well, damn, it's real now. I gotta do something. So I started cutting hair. I started cutting hair at Great Clips.
At Great Clips. So your first gig out of school was Great Clips.
Yeah, this big black guy with a fro cutting hair at Great Clips.
It's crazy because man, my first official gig out of school was Supercuts. So we both.
You learned anything?
I learned a lot, man. Honestly, when I think about the industry currently and where it was back then versus where it is now, a lot of barbers, there wasn't a whole lot of scissor work, you know? And man, it was crazy because I was in an all black barber school where we did not do any scissor work at all. If we got a Hispanic person or a white person in the shop, it was very rare to have a white person in the shop. But um, the Hispanic person, they're coming in getting like a ball fade or something, taper fade. So there was no scissor work coming in when it came to learning how to do straight hair. So I already knew that I was gonna go to a supercuts coming out of barber school. My wife, that was her first job out of cosmetology school, and I saw that they took the training very seriously. They made you train for a week before you can even. You have to pass the class before they actually put you in your shop. You know, so I knew I wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to go there. But go ahead.
Yeah, Great Clips was kind of similar. I started and I worked there for like about 2 weeks, and then they sent me off to a training class, like to the next city over. It was like a week, but it was all fading, hands-on fading classes. Um, it was actually a pretty good class. I mean, it taught you all the long, layered women's haircuts and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Just because you do have women that come to those places, but not very often. So
Yeah, that's one thing that I was shocked when I went there and they taught me how to do women's hair. I was like, I wasn't looking forward to it. You know, I was trying to grab all the men clients. I just knew I wanted to do some comb overs and stuff. But we got my guy Concise here. He says, "What's up?" Uh, and then this guy I'm Hope says, "I have a taper blade on my Babyliss FX clipper. Do you recommend I change to a fade blade?" What's your thoughts on that?
uh, I don't personally like fade blades just because I had to slow down a little bit more with the fade blade. But
Mm-hmm.
mind you, I'm not the most. I'm not saying I'm barbering God, so um, I like a taper blade because I feel like it's a little bit more forgiving, especially when I just started off.
Okay.
So I always go with a taper blade just because I'm trying to move and it leaves less hard lines. Me personally.
Um, I'm Hope. This is what I'll say. So I'm sure you know the difference by now in the blade. So the taper blade is going to be the one with the bevel. Do I got some clippers laying around or something? That's crazy. So I got some clippers laying around, and they ain't got no blade on it at all. But so it's gonna have that curve. I don't know if you see my hand. So with that curve, the reason I like that blade is because you can go straight up, right? But the bevel, so this is a straight line. I'll do it without looking. So, because if I look, I'm getting confused now. So this is the head, right? Here's the head. Here's the curved blade. So as you go straight up, the blade is curving off of the head automatically. So that's why it's called a taper blade. So when you go just normal strokes, you don't have to flick out and all that other stuff. Just those normal
Yeah.
strokes up is gonna do the work. It's gonna do the fading for you. So I definitely like the taper blade. The fade blade, I think it requires just a little more skill, but I do like how close you can get in with it. But I also feel
Yeah.
at the same time it can be unnecessary because I zero gap all of my clippers.
And
So
see, I don't zero gap any of mine, but I like you're saying. I just think that fade blade is so much less forgiving to a
yeah.
newer barber. Because I remember when I was in barber school, I had the masters and I had the fade masters, and I was taking people's scalps off left and right with those fade masters, just
Yeah. Okay, so
not knowing what I was using the tool for.
my guy Concise says, how did y'all prepare for the practical exam if y'all even had to do it? So I'll start with you. Did you have a practical exam in Georgia?
I had a practical and written, but
Okay.
I actually my graduating class, we were the first class to do it on mannequins. And normally you do a live model, but they switched it to mannequins.
Hmm.
Um, as far as preparing, I was not the most studious of students. I just kind of went to class, filled out my worksheets, and did what I did, and I just paid attention, and I just really towards the end of my school, my instructor really focused on preparing us for state board. So like our last 2 weeks were just practicing state board.
Yeah.
But the hard part was, since we were the first class to do it on mannequins, we didn't know how the practical was going to be. We didn't know the 14 strokes on the mannequin or any of that stuff. So as far as practicing, besides class, I didn't really practice too much on my own time.
Okay.
I was probably ill prepared.
So in my school, man, honestly, bro, it was like 10 years ago almost, so it's kind of hard to remember. But we had two classes. We had a day class and we had an evening class, and I was a part of the or afternoon class. I was a part of that class, so we didn't have a teacher that really covered both. So the people who came in the morning always got more information than us in the afternoon class. And
Yeah.
so when it came to preparing for the practical, I just asked a lot of people like, okay, what was the test like? And this is a tip I will give you guys. When it came to the practical, I was somebody's model 2 or 3 times, 2 times. So anybody that wanted to go, this was my real preparation for the practical. Anybody that was getting ready to do their test, I volunteered. I said, you know what? Let me be your model because I got to be comfortable in this room. The people that are going to fail this test, it's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's they're uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that they make stupid mistakes. You know what I'm saying? They know that you can't cut hair. They just want to see if you're going to be dropping stuff, if you're going to be cutting people. This one girl, she cut somebody open and they dang near bled out. So,
See, that's a good point.
failed.
That's like my boy James Hawkins.
Uh-huh.
We were taking our practical the same day, and we're sitting across from each other, and we get to the point where we have to do shears up top.
Mm-hmm.
I get my shears out, and James is looking at me straight in my eyes. I'm like, bro, what's wrong? You can't speak in the room. James forgot his shears. How are you supposed to do shear work with no shears?
I guarantee he passed.
You damn right he passed. Look, my boy James pulls out his clippers, went to a Kenny Duncan class, pulled out his clippers, and then started cutting the hair on top.
I ain't got no problem with that. We need James in here for that, bro. That's a GOAT moment, bro.
Without hesitation. And I mean, the proctor didn't even say anything, and then he passed him.
Bro, I know people who forgot their mannequins and still passed, bro. Still passed. Thank you.
I think that's a big. To say how to prepare, I would say there is a list. I know in Georgia at least, there's a list that you can get from your school or PSI, whoever.
The PSI package.
There's a list of the steps for every part of the test. And so I would say study that list, familiarize yourself with that list, so you know it's not foreign to you. Because when you get in that room, they're gonna be like, you have 2 minutes to prepare your mannequin for XYZ, and you don't want to be like, oh, this is the first time I heard that. Where's my shave gel? Where's my razors? Where's my all X, Y, and Z?
Okay. All right. So we're not gonna let Concise control the conversations right now. We came on here to talk about something that you really wanted to talk about, and that I don't know if I wanted to talk. It's something I really don't ever think about, but let's get Concise's comment out of here. So let these people know where you stand on what you stand on, and just throw this information out there, and then we're gonna address it, bro. That's all we can do is address it.
I don't even know how to word.
Don't freeze. No. Don't freeze up.
I think now this is during the night of playing some late night Call of Duty. I said if I was a barbershop owner, and this is not shots fired at anybody, if I was a barbershop owner, I would hire somebody from Great Clips or Sports Clips or mom and pop barbershop before I hire one who you think your big dog barber is, or just name some amazing barbers that everybody idolizes in the barber world.
Okay. So let's just clarify that. Concise, can you hear this man? So this guy says that if he's a shop owner, he will hire someone from that has been working at Supercuts, Great Clips, uh, Sports Clips. He'd hire them before he'd hire your big name celebrity barber. I gotta know what y'all think about that. What do y'all think about that? And as concise as saying right now, this is the number one question: why? Why? What is your
Um,
thinking behind that?
at the end of the day, are you trying to make art or are you trying to make money? Or are you trying to have a hybrid of the two? I
Hmm.
think the most profitable area will be in between the two. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm cool with just giving out, you know, horrible haircuts all day, but are we cutting hair for our personal satisfaction or are we cutting hair for our client satisfaction? Uh, 99% of people getting their haircuts don't see what we see. They see the shape of their haircut. They see the environment. They see how convenient it was booking. They see how they got greeted when they walked in the door.
Hmm.
They didn't see that from my skin line to my one close, I didn't use my half guard. They didn't see that. They didn't go to school for haircutting.
Yeah.
Uh, they don't. They don't. They don't find value in. I mean, disregard. I was about to say they don't find value in the amount of followers you have on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. But some clients do. They do get
Yeah. Younger,
some kind of
especially younger
satisfaction.
clients. That's clout
Yeah,
right there.
I mean, I only have like 13 or 1400 followers on Instagram,
Uh huh.
and I have kids like acting like that's amazing. But I know a bunch of barbers that have massive amounts, so it's like I don't think it's amazing. But in that kid's eyes, he's like, hey, my barber. If you look at my Instagram, it looks kind of official. I look like a decent barber on there,
Yeah.
and clients like that stuff. And that's what people focus on giving out these Instagram perfect haircuts when 99% of the population doesn't care
So
about.
Good Tree Clothing is actually one of my customers. Brandon, a great friend of mine, long term friend. Hold on, y'all can't see me. I don't know what just happened. Oh, hold on. Oh man, my battery's
Many
about
of
to
us got
die.
the cheap Wi-Fi.
Nah, man. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Technical difficulties. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit y'all with this. You see that timer, boy? I'm learning. Hold on.
This man got to unplug the router.
All right, all right. Let's get him back over here. Let's get this
You
clock
got
out
me
of
in the
there.
green room.
All right, how do I do that? All right, I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, this is my
All
first
right.
live, so I'm still this software is new to me and everything. So I'm trying to get it going. I want to put you back on that side. There we go. We got that down packed. Hey, okay. So I appreciate y'all dealing with that. Uh, but we're back up. We're running, and so my guy Brendan says he feels that they are more teachable. Is that a part of your reasoning when you say that you'd rather hire someone from a chain, barber style chain? I don't know the technical term for these
Okay,
franchises,
so from
or your
from the
celebrity
business side
barber.
of it, okay. We'll say celebrity barber.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not even the not. I don't want to use this term celebrity barber. Let's say established barber because you could be, I mean, a celebrity versus established. They're making the same amount
Right.
if you take away YouTube or Instagram or whatever monetized cutting hair than making the same amount. I would say I'll use Jason Patridge. He's a good friend of mine. He's an established barber. It's good for me to have a mix of established and great clips, sports clips, or whatever your chain barbershop, because your established barbers are going to send those amazing haircuts out in the community. Those are going to be the guys saying, hey, I got my haircut at XYZ.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in people. Your girls and guys from sports clips, great clips, they're going to be there to do the overflow, and they're going to be getting trained by your more established barbers. Mm-hmm. So they're more teachable, and it's hard for me to, from a business aspect, why would I want to bring in an established barber when I can have a girl that's used to making $400 or $500 a week at your local chains, and I could bring her into my shop and make her $1,000 a week.
Right. So,
on a commission, and I would be making more as a business owner.
So now, as a business owner, it's profitable for you.
Yeah. Now, if I tell Manyweather to come to my shop and do 60-40 commission, he's gonna be like, you must be off your rocker, because I can open up my own suite. I have 700 clients right here in a notebook, and I don't need your shop. So which one do I want to deal with? Like, I think the girl that got us gonna be grateful and happy to work, or?
Well, honestly, the conversation changed, because when we had this conversation before, it was more so we were thinking barbers who are great at what they do, or they're specialized because they don't do everything, right? So, and we got some big name barbers, right? So let's just say you got some African American barbers who don't do scissor work. And you remember, this is how the conversation started off. And so you said, I'd rather bring this supercuts person in that's going to do these okay haircuts versus having a guy who is big name, but he's specialized because he doesn't do everything.
It blows my mind that in 2020, we still have African American barbers, or we still have white barbers that don't know how to cut black hair and aren't interested to learn how to cut black hair. And we have black barbers that are claiming to be the GOATs or the greatest things that ever picked up clippers that can't cut a simple sheer haircut. Yeah. And they're comfortable with that. That's like, and how do you call yourself a GOAT if you can't even cut a majority of the people's hair that live in this country that you cut hair in?
Can you just be the GOAT at what they do and just not the GOAT all
around?
You
can be the GOAT at what you do, but if you can be the GOAT at what you do, yeah, but you cannot be a GOAT barber if you can't cut all hair. It doesn't even make sense. Yeah. That's like you saying I'm the best mechanic this side of Mississippi, but I only work on 1998 Ford Rangers and only the brakes on those. So, but hey, I'm the best mechanic. You bring it in, I'll get it out of there. I hope your engine don't blow up.
But there are like specialized mechanics that only work on Euro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I only work on Maseratis or something. You know.
And that's cool. But as a business owner, now I'm not trying to take away from saying they can't be successful or whatever and that, but don't claim to be the GOAT or some kind of untouchable being if that's all you can do. That's like saying, speaking sports, if somebody can only shoot threes, am I going to bring him to my court, or am I going to bring somebody that's a good all-around player to my team?
It depends on what I need on my team.
Depending on what I need on my team, yeah, I could move. If I have 3 established barbers with a good clientele, I will bring in 3 unestablished barbers that might have just graduated straight out of barbering school. Yeah, I'll take a kid. Matter of fact, if I have 2 established barbers already working in my shop, I would take 3 kids straight out of barber school. They ain't even had to cut hair before, just straight out of barber school, and you could turn a profit just off of service, just off of the things 90% of barbers aren't doing.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing? You got an appointment today?
I think the
These,
difference
these,
is,
these
man, when you're hungry, like when guys are fresh out of school, and honestly, this is not everybody. So everybody's not coming out of school like I want to be the next such and such, or I want to be the biggest such and such. Some guys are in situations where this was the last resort. The judge was gonna lock me up if I ain't go to school. You know that I had a lot of guys. I went to barber school that was like that, and you could see their attitude and their mindset while they were in school. That this is not what I love to do, but I need something to do to keep me out of trouble or whatever the case may be. And the guys who are actually coming in and that really desire to be great barbers, those guys are, as Brandon said, you can teach those guys because they're all ears. So for me,
yeah,
my barber school situation was I had already been cutting since I was 15 or 16. And I get into school and I tell myself, I want to be the best one day, like the best ever, the best barber that ever existed, right? And so I went into school with the mindset of I got a blank slate. Yes, I have been cutting this whole time for however many years, but right now I know nothing. So when I got into school, unlike everybody else that I got into class with, they didn't want to do no book work. All they wanted to do was get out on the floor and cut. I've
yeah,
been cutting. I just want to cut. And those guys, when I left out of school, they cut the same from day one to when we left out. But me, what I did was I got up under the senior barbers that had been there, ready to graduate, and I just watched. I watched and I asked questions. I'm like, what guard is that? Is that a number two? I'm trying to guess what they got in their hands because that's how my YouTube was. You had to figure out what was in their hands because there wasn't no voiceovers. So I'm guessing. I'm like, okay, that's a number two right there. That's a half. They're like, yeah. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And so I got the psyche of a more established barber versus someone who I've been doing this and I already got my own bad habits and I'm just gonna keep doing this because I think I'm great already. You know, so if you already think you're the greatest, like you're not gonna grow. But when you recognize that there are others outside of you that can help you grow and help you get to where you want to be, even if you surpass them after a while, you still have to recognize that, you know what, it's a next level. This person gonna help me reach the next level and I can't use them no more. This person gonna help me reach the next level. So really quickly, what I did was after doing that for a while, I finally picked up the Clippers like a week later, and they was like Portland. You know, everybody called me Portland. And Portland, bro, you can cut hair. Like, what are you doing? Always watching us and asking us questions. I said, bro, I'm trying to get better. And so from that
yeah.
point on, after each cut, I got one. It was one guy who I felt like he was the best. Right? If he wasn't the best, he was one of the best. And we developed a relationship to where after every cut, I'm calling him over. Jason, his name is Jason Malone. Last year, he was voted best barber in Dallas because I'm not in Dallas enough for me to be known. But anyway, so he's best barber in Dallas, and that just lets you know that he has a skill. You know, he's really nice with the Clippers. So I ask him after every cut, Jason, what do you see? Come over. He'll look at my work, fix this, fix that, fix this, fix that. He's just pointing out any flaw that he can see. And we did
Yeah.
this, and what I ended up doing was I'm like, I don't want him to see anything. So by doing that, it taught me to look at my work not objectively, but what is it, subjective or objective?
So
Subjectively.
objectively, yeah.
So
It's
where
subjective, yeah.
where I can step back and say, okay, because most barbers can look at anybody's haircut and find flaws, and they'll
All
overlook
day.
the most simple stuff in their own. So what I did was I said, you know what? I'm gonna look at my work as if I'm Jason. So what is Jason gonna point out? Well, he already told me about this last time. Let me make sure I didn't do this. So I started eliminating things. So as each time I called him over, he would look and find less and less things. And so eventually it came to the point he like, I don't see nothing. Now, did I think I was the best then? No. I just knew I was done with Jason. I said I'm at least on his level now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was my thinking, my thought process, and in trying to be great, I had to do things like that to ensure that greatness could come, even if I don't end up being going down as the best barber ever. Even though, and now I understand that there is no greatest barber because there's always somebody who can do something that you can't do or do what you do
Yeah.
and do it better. And so I no longer want to be the greatest. I just want to be the greatest I can be. And I push myself and I want my customers to love my work, more so than, man, sit back. And like you said, this is just straight art. It don't matter how long I take. Bro, it's a fine line of holding a schedule, producing art, and producing happy clients, because you don't
Yeah.
have, especially if you're a booked up barber and you want to have more clients, everything can't be an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and a half.
Not at all.
It just
It's
doesn't
30,
work.
30 minutes.
Yeah, and as a
30
shop
minutes.
owner, you don't want somebody, because I'm running a business, I don't want the waiting area full. I need someone who can come in, produce good work. And honestly, a lot of customers are not looking for great work. They're looking for a great personality that does good work that we can build a relationship with. That's why guys feel weird when they cheat on their barber. It's not that my barber's the coldest and I don't ever want to leave his side. It's that, man, we done built this relationship. You done helped me. You done talk with me. You done pray with me. You done helped me through this crisis. You done gave me advice on this. I done gave you, like, we built a relationship.
It's a relationship.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And so something happened, something shifted in social media where now the younger barbers are seeing the great, great, great Photoshop and great work, and they're thinking that this is what I need to be a very busy barber. But to me, that's not a successful barber at its own, in its own isolated situation. I look at the relationships that I built with people, and that's what I'm most proud of. That I could call somebody, and I usually mess with my customers if I want to, like, change the schedule or add something, or call them for whatever reason. And the first thing I say is, bro, I need to borrow $200, man. And they like, bro, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm just joking. Or I'll say something ridiculous. Bro, you got like $1,000, bro. But through the relationship, they know that if I'm asking, that's because I would really need it, But just relationship overrides your skill, because I was at the point where I didn't have the skill as far as what I thought my skill should be, or I was the new guy, but people came to me because even though I had nobody in my chair, I'm conversating with the room, I'm cracking jokes, I'm laughing, I'm walking around, I'm greeting people that come in. Hey, what's going on, man? Y'all watch this game? I'm arguing with people about basketball, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of the other customers ended up coming in my chair because they felt like we were cool versus,
Exactly.
oh, he's better than them. No, it wasn't that. He's available and he's a cool guy. Let me go get in his chair and chop it up with him. Most of my customers that come to me, honestly, and one guy told me, because he just bought a house in Houston. He was like, bro, you the highlight of my week. Now, my man's is married with 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? He said, bro, you are the highlight of my week. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro.
I got a couple clients like that, man. It takes me literally like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to cut their hair. But we spend the whole 45 minutes just because they happen to be just chilling.
Yeah.
I mean, just chilling away from the house. I keep a few bottles. We have a few drinks, on the house, complimentary. I'm not getting my clients
because they drunk.
but I mean, that's just part of it, and yes, that's irreplaceable. And that's and people look at places like Great Clips and Sports Clips, and they wonder, like, you can go up to a Great Clips tomorrow at 4:00 in the afternoon, and tomorrow Saturday, so 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's gonna be booming. There's gonna be people in the waiting area. Well, maybe not the whole COVID situation, but it's gonna be booming. They do numbers, and it's not because they do the best haircuts. You cannot compete with their convenience. That you can check in online before you get there. You get there, you see how much time you have until you're in a chair, because they have a computer system It calculates average wait time per how fast the people have been cutting hair that day. I mean, so that's convenient stuff. Versus if I go to, let's just say, Uppercuts Barbershop. I'm just throwing barbershop name out there. I don't know who works at Uppercuts Barbershop. If I go in there and I walk in the door and I'm like, and all the barbers are booked. But you've seen it happen before. All the barbers are booked, so they don't feel it's necessary for me to greet this man. I'm booked the rest of the day. So everybody's here, just cutting hair. Buddy just walked in, and that's a client. He don't care about coming back here. Didn't nobody greet him. Nobody said anything. He doesn't know how to check in. If there's a check-in, he doesn't know anything.
Yeah. So
now they took care of my Great Clips. He knows for a fact he's gonna get a haircut if we go to Great Clips.
And when you're diversifying your clientele, you have to keep this stuff in mind. A lot of I'll just say a lot of my white clientele that have come from that background, those people are very impatient when it comes to waiting because of the structure that they're coming from. So a text or whatever, just trying to get them acclimated with the system that you're running, that goes a long ways because, like you said, they don't want to just be sitting there wondering who's next, or just greet them or whatever. That stuff goes a long ways, even if you're running late or whatever.
I mean, it's simple. Hey, man, I'm running about 20 minutes behind. They're happy with that,
Yeah. But this is one thing that I say. You can get a great haircut what did I say?
I didn't myself.
You can get a good haircut anywhere, but you can't find me everywhere. So I'm only in one place. There's always going to be a better barber or equal barber or a more convenient. I got people who drive from Fort Worth, Texas to Rockwall, Texas, from Grapevine, from Arlington, from all over Texas to come see me. And it makes me grateful because I think about how many barbershops they've driven past, which I know there was at least one person in each of these shops that could give them exactly what they're looking for, but they're looking for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The relationship part is I hold that very high on the skill list. That has to be how relatable you are, personality. You have to be a people person in order to build a really good clientele. I think so. Now, I know that there's a lot of busy barbers out there that could care less about customer service or talking to you. You know what I'm saying? I got friends that they throw them headphones on and they fading. You know what I'm saying? They don't care what you got going on.
I'll tell my clients, hey, man, I'm not really in the mood today. Headphones going on. Hey. They respect it. Most of the time, they're like, oh, cool, man. I didn't feel like talking today anyway. But that just goes back to the customer service side of it. Like, hey, man, they know me. They know I'm not always, I'm a pretty happy guy all the time. But when I don't feel like talking, what are we talking for?
Well, hey, I do want to get, because there are some questions being asked and we've been talking
about. Let's go.
So let's see. Hey guys, I'm a 15-year-old barber. What trimmer do you recommend for a beginner? The trimmer that I recommend for a beginner that's never gonna fail you, never ever gonna let you down, never gonna beat you up. What am I thinking?
I hope you say T outliners.
The Andis corded T outliner.
That's
one, if you don't got none yet, you can probably get you a pair off of Amazon for about $50. Yeah, those things are zero gappable. I guess that's the term. So you can zero gap them. They work well, and they're going to last you forever as long as you're not dropping them and banging them up. You can have those things clearly 20 years, honestly, And so one thing that's good about the cordless phase that we're in right now, or the shift in the industry, is we don't know how long this stuff is going to last. And we have a lot more issues out of this cordless stuff than we ever had out of these corded items. So that's a great trimmer. You heard both of us say it. He knew what I was going to say. And that's a testament to the longevity and the greatness of those trimmers. Let's see. You want to add anything to that before I go on?
No, man, that's it. T outline, that's it.
Man, that's it for real. Concise says, I feel like you just rather have those that comfortable with a certain percentage commission while they focus on getting the job done. Established barbers and shops can teach other barbers so they all can win. Okay, and he's referring to the conversation we were just having, and that's true, man.
Yeah.
I think it's really good, and I know everybody doesn't think like me, but I personally feel like every barber should every barber should take on the responsibility of running the shop as if it's as if it's his or hers. So, how would the owner be if they were, how does an owner act? How should an owner act? Greeting customers, having conversations, helping the barber next to you if that person is comfortable. So for me, I used to help a lot of the barbers in the shop, especially the newer people, not because I was asked to, but because I wanted to see them succeed. So I'm going to help you in a way that does not expose your weakness, right? So if I'm next to you cutting, I'm not going to be like, bro, get that line out of there, because now the customer in your chair is going to feel their confidence in you is not
Can
going
I
to be
can I
there.
interject?
Go ahead.
So perfect example. Like I said, I used to cut with Jason.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was Jason Patrick, uh, Jay Perez, and Preston Wernick. They were our three featured barbers at the time when I started. And what they were on, I was on commission. They were on booth rent.
Mm-hmm.
But their job, since they were on booth rent, they were paying less per week. But they had extra duties, like teaching new guys like me. So anytime I'm cutting hair, I would be like, "Hey, Jason, you remember that technique you wanted at a hair show this weekend? Can you show me that real quick?" He would come over, boom, boom, boom. So now my client doesn't know. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and Jason just showed me. Jason just showed me a more efficient way to do this haircut.
Yeah.
And now my client's like, "Oh man, my barber goes to classes on the weekend." So now we've just added value to this whole experience without my client knowing that I just almost gapped them on the whole right side of his head.
Yeah, so you found a way to ask for help that didn't expose your weakness to the person, because I know you personally. I know that you don't care now. At this point in your career, you've called me on FaceTime with a customer in your chair, like, say, man, what was you talking about in that video? What can I do right here? So I know that you don't care now. But back then, and for a lot of other barbers, they feel like now this person has no confidence in me, and now they probably thinking about getting in your chair next. And so I never wanted the customer to be like, well, shoot, he'd do a better job. No, I want this person to grow.
It's important for the person doing the training and that person, the trainee, to be on the same page. So Jason knew what verbiage to use when he came down to my chair. And like he might come up with an alley oop. He comes down to my chair. "Oh man, that looks good. I would do this." So the client already thinks his haircut looks good, but we're just gonna do an extra step to take the haircut to the next level.
Yeah, yeah.
Now the client's just like, "Man, I just came in here and got grade A service. David can cut my hair, or that guy Jason can cut my hair. It doesn't matter. They both cut great." So now the next time that guy comes in, he's comfortable sitting in my chair, and hopefully I remember the steps that I learned last time, and I can just implement them.
Right.
So that's why I say it's important to have a mix in between the two. But which one's going to be more profitable is a hard question to ask, because how much traffic is your established barber bringing through versus how much revenue, how much revenue is your newer commission barber turning over per week. For me, I was cutting $1,000 a week on a 60-40 commission. So I mean, you do the math. That's $400 a week.
That's booth a lot of money.
Booth rent. But am I complaining? Because I came straight out of barber school with no clientele, sat in a chair, and started cutting 40, 50 people a week.
So
and I didn't know what I was doing.
For me personally, I respect that, and he did it, and it worked for you. It worked for the owner, but I think more realistically, that's my love for commission, is because you coming out of school with nothing, right? I have no clientele. I don't want to be sitting around. So you went into the shop, and he put you on commission. Now after that, I have to start the work. The work begins. The owner's going to be providing the customers. He's advertising all that kind of stuff, whatever they offer with that. But my problem is once this guy is getting up into this $1,000 range, bro, you gotta let's cut it down a percentage or something. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop it down
And
because $400 a week is a lot of money. You know, that's a lot of money.
I agree. Now, so to be quite frank, uh, that's something me and the owner of my first shop, we did bump heads with that. But that wasn't necessarily his fault. It was, I would say it was my fault because I didn't establish those guidelines or those parameters at the beginning of my employment. I came straight out of barber school. I said 60/40, let's go. Sounds great. I got clients, but there was no. I would say anybody needs to write out a contract saying when I get to this check mark, I go to
Mm-hmm.
this. When I get here, I go here. How do I get to these goals? A set of goals for yourself that you and your potential. I would say I wouldn't call him an owner, your business partner.
Uh-huh.
Set goals for both y'all and agree on something that's fair on both ends. You have to have a light at the end of the tunnel because when I'm a successful barber and I'm cutting 15, 16, 1700 $100 a week, what I look like paying 60/40 commission? What I look like
Yeah.
paying 70/30 commission?
And that's why I
So
say
that's
it has to fall on the owner as well. Like for me, if I was in that position as an owner, of course you want to make you're in business to make money, but
obvious.
how do I keep you happy as a employee or as you say a business partner if I'm charging you the maximum amount like that, right? You are
Yeah,
gonna feel like I'm me personally. I'm in a suite, not because of that circumstance, but I'm just in a suite now, and so with me being in a suite, I'm paying for my own space, my own roof, my own business to be ran the way that I want, and everything, all the room and space I need, everything I need is in there, and I'm paying $265 a week. You're paying $400 every time you make $1,000, and you being told what to do. You know what I'm saying? So they have to make
I
it
completely
appealing.
understand.
I gotta make you want to stay, and that's one thing that will run people away once you
I,
hit in
I
that
think
$1,000 range.
and see now we're back to your established versus your students or your people from great clips and sports clips
Mm-hmm.
because you're looking at it as I'm paying the shop $400 a month. I mean a week. They're looking at it as I was cutting 3 times this amount of heads of sports clips and making half of this money. I'm cutting 40 people and I'm making this now because 60/40 is way better than they were making on that hourly. I was making $8 an hour working at Great Clips.
Yeah, I was right there with you.
So
I like 836.
I think my first week there, mind you, I was straight out of barber school, didn't know how to cut hair. I cut uh, almost 100 people.
Yeah,
After 2 weeks, my first check was like $400 and something dollars.
yeah.
I was a full grown man. I just got out the military, and I saw that and I was like, "There's no way." And I just did the math on what I would have made at a 60/40 shop, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is easy." So if you're coming from a shop like that, 60/40 is great to you, and it's going to be amazing. You're making say okay, you say you make $1,000.
It's gonna be great for a while till you realize how much money you spending.
Until you realize how much you make. But then when you add tips in, you might be back up close to that $1,000 mark. So those people are comfortable. They're like, hey, I was making $400 or $500 every 2 weeks before. Now I'm making 2,000, 2,500 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so I'll say this: you familiar with suites, right? Barber
Yeah,
suites. So how long have you been knowing about suites as a barber?
2, 3 years.
So the
Two
last
years.
2 3 years has been a boom of barbers going into suites, right?
Yeah.
You know how long them things been around?
Uh, a good while. A
Since
really
like
good
the
while.
'80s, bro. But
Yeah.
they've been filled with cosmetologists. Why? Because in cosmetology, most of them women are paying 50% on their services. They're
Yeah.
paying 50-50. And so now they're realizing that, or they realize that, man, I can go in this suite, I can pay 300 a week, and I can keep that 300 I just did on that head. You know what I'm saying? Like at a certain point, there has to be an adjustment if you want to keep that person there. So for me, being in the shop that I was at, right, I was completely fine with being the established barber in the shop, and I took on
Yeah,
all the responsibilities that I felt would help better the shop. Kind of like a manager without a manager position. That's the kind
yeah,
of mindset that I wanted to have, and so I didn't mind helping out when I could, but I couldn't always help. But I still did not desire to leave the shop. I never saw myself being in a suite because I loved the atmosphere of the shop I was at. I loved the workers, the other barbers. Like it became like a family. So I never saw myself even leaving at all. So you have to create a climate, but money can slide on in there to where if I was on commission, you know what I'm saying? That I was paying. Eventually, I got up to $200 a week in the shop. But if I was paying 400, $500 a week, as much as I love y'all, you know what I'm saying? I got, I got to do something
but
different.
there's so many intangible variables that go into that equation because yeah, I'm paying the shop $400 or $500 a week, but how much would I have made if it wasn't for the shop? How many of those walk-ins that I grabbed? How many of those
Yeah, but after a
squeeze-ins in
while,
between
so you're
clients?
that stuff matters in the beginning. So what about when
But
I'm
even as an
four?
established barber,
No, what
go
if
ahead.
I'm 4 years in? I've been at this shop for 4 years, and most of the people I started off cutting, I don't even cut no more. I got my own clientele. These people came
Yeah,
because of referrals, word of mouth. They saw me on Instagram, whatever it is. Am I still supposed to be happy about giving you $500 a week because of what happened before?
not at all. I was talking more closer towards that beginning of that 4 year,
Okay, okay.
maybe not 2 year mark. I'm
So that's
about
what I'm saying. How do you get these people to stay? Because eventually, this barber that was here 6 months will be here a year, then 3 years, 4 years, and you telling me he's still on commission at the same amount, or
it
should
does.
it drop
That's
down?
I think that's the hardest part about the whole commission part of it. But I think if you do it correctly,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have so much revenue from being commissioned if you keep a good turnover rate. Um, and what you could do is you could take your top barber. Now you can open up another shop across town.
Hmm.
He can take three barbers with him. Another shop across town. Now that shop paying you royalties for the name.
Yeah.
They can do the same thing. Next time my next guy goes up, boom. Now we have 7, 8, 9 uppercuts barbershops all around Dallas, Texas.
All right, let's get to this guy Trey J. He's been commenting a lot. Thank you, Trey, for sitting around. Trey says you are the only one who can market yourself and bring in more clients. Uh, if I'm
I'd
in a
have to
commission
disagree.
shop, I honestly expect the owner to be marketing the shop and the barbers in the shop. Now you have to do
I,
the
I
work and you should market as well, but I feel like that's a part of the responsibility. Provide me with people because you taking half or 50 or 30%. You should be advertising as well. What do you think, David?
I'd agree. Well, it depends on what y'all agreed to at the beginning. Some owners aren't going to advertise for you, but they will provide everything you need to perform a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I think I took Dave Diggs' class, and he was talking about his commission barbers. He pays for them to go to 2 hair shows a year and gives them a stipend to buy new tools every year. Crazy.
That boy,
That's crazy.
that boy, something special.
Now, I don't know if he's still doing that, but I remember at
Yeah.
Barber Brothers in 2008, 17, he said that. Um, so it all depends on what you agree on. Uh, I do. I know my shop I'm at now. We're all taking pictures of each other. I could be cutting hair. I've been cutting my own client. I look to my left and I see my homegirl Maya. She's cutting hair right next to me, and I'm just like, man, something she's doing. This looks cool. It looks like a good picture. I'll stop what I'm doing. I say to my client, hey, hold on real quick. Take a picture. Boom. My client respects it. He knows what I'm doing. He understands the value behind social media marketing, and pictures are important. So
Yeah.
we all market for each other.
So,
My
but
the
that only
shop
works in a
owner,
teamwork driven shop.
And that's what I'm saying. You have to look at in barber school when you're looking at these barbershops you want to go work at. Stop looking for the five barber in the city, the best barber in the city. Go into a barbershop, sit like you're a client, and see how they treat you as a client, and see if that's where you want to get your haircut. That's what I will look at, and that's where you're gonna learn the most from. I don't care if it's the old heads playing chess. Like you don't know, some of those the greatest barbers don't have any customer service skills that that you as a new barber would depend on because they have the best haircuts in town. They don't care about customer service. They know they're putting out straight gas every time their clippers come on. You don't need to learn from him because you're not there yet. You need to go to that dude or girl from Great Clips that's over here doing quick, efficient haircuts, talking to their client, asking their client about their dog and, oh, how's Fluffy doing? I know he got his toenail removed last time. That's building relationships.
Okay.
It's all about building those relationships.
So, this guy Trey J says, "Quick question: my pick is a self cut. How does it look?"
Don't do this to me, man. Come on, man.
Let me see. I'm on my computer, bro. It actually looks really nice. It's a nice fade.
Okay, I can't say I'm on my phone, and I'm not gonna dare try to mess this thing up.
Yeah, the fade looks really good. The design is not bad at all. It looks good.
The design on the self cut,
bro. Yeah. He put a nice little part in there.
I'll see me.
But it looked like you hurt your edge up a little bit, man. I can't say because I ain't see how it looked before, but it looked like you might have went off in that corner. You could be receding a little bit like me. I don't know. So I'll just say I can't really tell. Good Tree Clothing says it's all about the experience. Definitely, bro. But the definition of experience has to be established because I see a lot of barbers saying it's all about the experience, and then they proceed to lay back every single customer and hit them with a hot towel and blowing steam in their face, and then I gotta put the vibrating massager on your face while you got the steam that's rolling, and I'm doing all this, and then I grab your shoulders, and they think that is the experience. That's the definition of experience, but they don't know. What they don't know is that the experience is the relationship that they build with you in many cases. I won't say every case, but I'll say if I just had a great conversation, or if I always have a great conversation with you. One guy told me, bro, I love coming to you because I've never seen you down, not once. So you always encouraging people, you always uplifting, you always in a good mood. I love coming here. To him, that's the experience, and I didn't. And he's gonna tip well, and he's gonna come back consistently. And I haven't laid him back and added 30,000 different services at all. So we have to know that services don't always equal experience. The experience can be something on a psychological level, not just the physical. Thoughts?
Man, I always say make somebody laugh, man. If you can make a client laugh, you're good. You got them. I mean, I started cutting hair in Georgia, so I mean, I'll get clients come in. It's a 90-year-old old white guy, old, and I'm cutting his hair. He comes in, he done booked his appointment with David. He comes in all slow, and then I say, "Hey, Alan," I call his name. He looks like, "Oh Lord." He comes sit in my chair, and I can tell he's uncomfortable. And so I lean down. I'm 6'2", 250 pounds. I lean down this little old man's ear. I said, "Hey, you ever had a big black guy cut your hair before?" And this old man, hey, he said, "Son, I can't say I have." And I said, "Well, I ain't never cut an old white man's hair before." So we laughed, cut his hair, and we were good. He's gonna come back to me probably once every 6 months because he ain't getting his haircut like that. But we good.
Most of the moments I spend is laughing with customers. I like that.
The whole experience thing. I know you're not big on the laid back, blah blah blah. I'm saying if you're gonna do all that, charge accordingly.
I like that.
if I'm gonna lay somebody back and if I do a haircut, a hot towel shave, and I'm
Go ahead,
if
my
I'm
bad,
doing a
my bad.
haircut, hot towel shave, and straight razor, all that stuff, the works, if you want to call it that, that's gonna run you $100, and that's gonna be a 90-minute appointment.
Yeah, yeah.
The goal should be $1 a minute. Um, if I'm doing a 30-minute haircut, it's $30. If I'm taking an hour, it's gonna be an hour. And that's not to be misconstrued with it takes you 2 hours to cut hair, so
Yeah.
you should be charging $20. No, you need to learn how to do a solid haircut
Uh-huh.
and then go for that $1 a minute mark.
So
Just
it's
because you're
levels to
slow
this.
doesn't mean you,
It's
yeah.
levels.
Just because you can't be charging more because you're slow.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I like that, man. What's good, AAC 480? He says, did you ever say why you left the shop? You really want to
He's
know
talking
why
about
I
you.
left the shop? Huh?
Oh, he's talking about you.
Oh,
Okay.
he's talking about me. He's talking about me. Ah, why did I leave the shop? I got fired, bruh. I got fired from the shop, man. It's crazy. I was there almost 7 years. Like I said, I love the shop. I love the people that I worked with. Um, I did a lot around the shop. I did a lot to help the new guys coming in and just helping the build the atmosphere that would make the shop successful. So my thing was always about, hey, you guys, we got to represent the shop well. If your haircuts are not up to par, they don't leave and say Johnny or Timmy can't cut or Timmy messed me up. They're gonna say, hey, they can't cut at
Uppercuts.
that shop. Yeah, man. So everything that I did was to push the shop forward. Man, I've argued for the other barbers to get raises because I was charging more than everybody else. I was allowed to charge more than everybody else. And so the reason that I left got fired from the shop was, hold on, let me get this right here. I'm gonna tell you. Man, so I was actually, man, I got fired on almost. So I was getting ready to go up. I decided, man, initially my shop owner told me I could raise my price. I came to him because he had everybody on the same price. And I told him, I was like one of the busiest in the shop. I'm going to these barber shows, barber expos. I'm buying the new equipment, everything. And I'm giving my all into this. And so I asked him, I said, hey, I want to go up on my prices. Can I do that? I really wasn't doing many walk-ins. I was appointments, right? So, but at the time I was still doing walk-ins. I hadn't got super busy or maxed out busy yet. And so he was like, yeah, man, we're going to let you do that. And then that's when he told me all the things that his reason why, and they had to do a lot with the extra stuff that I was doing, going to the shows and trying to better myself. So he allowed me to go up. I went up $5. And so that following year, I was like, okay, he already gave my answer why I could do it. So that following year, I'm like, okay, I'm going up $5. So I told my customers I went up $5, and then the following year, um, or last summer, or yeah, this past or not, it's been a year. That's crazy. So uh, the summer leading up to when I got fired, it was I had some barbers that are friends on social media and stuff like that. I had met at some shows, come through and check out the shop. They're looking for a place to work, and I'm telling them like the ins and outs of the shop. And one of them in particular, he's newer at cutting, but he has the grandeur. I'm Mr. $50 haircuts already. Like the shop that he was at, he was having trouble with the owner because the owner's like, bro, you're not at that point to be charging that much for these haircuts. I don't think you should charge that much. So he came to check out our shop, and he was personally charging $35, right? Hey, chill out, Trey. So he was personally charging like $35, and I told him, I said, hey, just so you know, everybody here at this shop, other than me, charges the same thing. The owner, all the other barbers. So if you come here, you're gonna be losing on some of that money, right? And we had that conversation. I told the owner that I had that conversation with him. And so the next day, the owner sent out a message to all the barbers in the group text, and he says, "Hey, you guys, effective immediately, you guys can charge what you want for the appointments, but when it comes to walk-ins, make sure you're charging the shop price." So I'm like, cool. I was gonna go up in November anyway, because at this point I had started a every November or October, something like that, $5 increase, right? And so as the months started to progress and we're getting into fall, the owner's like, say, Chris, man, let me know when you go up on the prices so we can get you that new contract. And at this point, I'm thinking he's joking, right? But what he had going on was, it was, well, I won't get too personal into his business because his business is his business. But he wasn't at the shop as much, and so he wasn't working as much, and so he starts saying stuff like that. And a lot of times he'd come to work, and I'm cutting some of his clients because they want to come in earlier than when he was coming in. But so he just kept making those remarks, and I'm thinking he's joking, so I'm joking back. I'm like, bro, if you want to make more money, you need to get out of whatever you're doing and come up here, and cut some hair. You need to work the hours on the door. That's one of the things he always used to say. And so I'm thinking he's joking, but I realized it went on too long. And as the time approached when I was going to change my prices, like November 3rd, like few days before, he was saying it more and more. So I was like, say, my understanding is this. If a barber shop owner wants more money, the process is this. You raise the prices on haircuts. What that does is it gives the barbers a raise and it gives the barbershop owner a raise. So if what I proposed was this, I said, okay, you obviously want more money, but I don't want to be the one to give you more money just because I'm busier. That makes no sense. My clientele has been established for years, and just because I'm busier and making more money than anybody else doesn't mean that you personally deserve a raise based on my work. But I said, if you want a raise, what you should do is, and this is after I had already told the other barbers and gave them the option, because it seemed like I was always arguing for them to get raises as well. I told them, I said, look, you guys, booth rent is $185. Haircuts are $15. I think the year before I argued and we went up to $17. I argued for them. Like I said, I wasn't doing walk-ins anyway, but I argued for them to go up, and he allowed them to go up to $17. So I said, look, booth rent is $185 a week. Haircuts are $17 a week. What do you guys think about giving Jason a raise and giving giving the owner a raise and giving yourselves a raise by going up to $20 a cut and $200 a week in booth rent? So the owner he would have got $15 a week extra from everybody in there, including myself. Because if this is the price, it's the price. Like, I'm willing to pay more in this situation because everybody's paying this. Don't single me out. I'll go up if everybody else has to go up. So you'll be getting an extra $15 from everybody else in the shop, but their money now goes up to, they're doing a lot more walk-ins than I was. So let's just say you do 30 extra walk-ins at $3 extra a head, then you got, how much money is that? 3 times 30 is 90. Is that 90?
Yeah, 90.
90. So you got 90 extra dollars a week that you just made, and you're only giving him $15 of it. That's a great trade-off, right? And so they were cool with that. And I told him, I was like, look, bro, this is what you should do. Everybody already said this is what they want to do. And so I come in the next day. It's a Saturday morning, and he's like, hey, effective immediately. He actually went a step above, because I was like, you should just make every haircut $20, because at the time we were doing $17 basic cut, $20 like comb overs or something like that. So he was like, I don't think every haircut should be the same price. But he said, effective immediately, haircuts are, what's up, Joe? Haircuts are $20 for basic cuts, $25 for specialty cuts. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm off the hook now. So I just asked the question. I said, okay, well, how much is booth rent then? And he said, yours is different. We'll talk about it. So I'm like, huh. You went up to the 200 for everybody, like I suggested, but mine is still more. And so at this point, this is like 8 in the morning, bro. I'm like, what the heck is this dude? Like, what are you talking about? And then so I just like whatever. My customer's waiting. I get in the chair. I'm cutting them up. I get a few cuts in, and I'm like, say, bro. I said, say your name. You know, I said his name. Like, what make you think I would do that? Like, why would I pay more than everybody else? You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm basically in a management position without the management benefits at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying everything
Yeah.
everybody else paying. I'm first in the shop a lot of times. I'm always last out. You know, I'll make sure it's swept up, mopped up. Everybody else is pieced out. I'm going to the Mavericks game. They gone. You know what I'm saying? But I'm making sure that
Yeah.
things are straightened up. I'm moving the chairs at the end of the day, sweeping and mopping, just doing stuff to help the shop. I'm training your new people so that your establishment can be ran well and highly spoken of. Why would you put this person on the attack? Like you said, David, uh, Jason, Patridge, and them, they were getting they were getting benefits of being
Benefits.
helping
Yeah.
out. Yeah. So there was some sort of benefit for the stuff that they brought to the table. What's going on, y'all? What up, Zay? What up, Joe? What up, Joseph? Um, and so the next day, so it was crazy. So throughout the day, I'm just like, I'm steaming at this point. Like it's irritating. Like, bro, I do too much around here for this dude to be tripping like this, right? And so I asked one of the barbers. He was like, bro, he just playing around. I ain't never seen him do nobody like that. And this dude, he was there a year before me, so he'd been there a while, maybe a year and a half before me. And I'm sorry this story is so long, but it's just the story he asked. I got to tell y'all. And so and so he's like, yeah, man, he wouldn't do nothing like that. He just messing around. So at the end of the day, before I went home, I was like, say, man, for real, what's the real blueprint, man? He said, oh, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk. And I'm like, bro, we talking now? He said, we'll talk. And so I came in. At this point, I'm working 7 days a week. And so I come in the next day. It's a Sunday. And this man comes in slapping new contracts on all the stations. Bam, bam, bam. No, I wasn't the owner, but a lot of people thought I was the owner, honestly. Like, most people thought I owned the shop. But so he's slapping all these different papers, new contracts on the thing. Mind you, they're contracts. And he's a owner that has contracts. And the contract, it wasn't even time for contract negotiations or nothing like that. He just voided our contracts and said, here's the new contracts with the new prices. Y'all had these signed by the end of the day. And I was like, you know, what is this? What is this? You know, so one of the new barbers that I was helping train at the time, I was cutting hair because every day at that point I was booked up. And so one of the newer barbers that I was helping, we had got close. I was helping him out. I was like, bro, read that and let me hear what that say. And so he's reading the contract, and it basically saying that everybody. It was just weird, bro. But if I'd have signed the contract, I would have went from. It would have been a $45 jump a week for me. 45 extra bucks, bro. Almost $50 extra a month that I would have been paying, bro. And because I'm busier than everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he would make comments like, y'all barbers, y'all think y'all supposed to make $1 million from behind the chair and the owner don't get none of that. Mind you, I'm the guy. I paid every first day of the week. Most times on Sundays or Mondays, I've already paid my booth rent. Booth rent is due every Friday. I'm paying it. Get out the way. I don't want to think about it. It's gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm booked
Yeah.
up every single day. So what am I waiting on this money for? Here, get this. I don't want to worry about it. So I'm paying you every week at the first day of the week, and you trying to go up because, and this is where I made my mistake, man. Because as y'all know, anybody who follows my channel closely, I don't mind sharing my personal growth story. I don't mind telling you how much money I make because I just do what I love, and whatever the Lord send me from this, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it as it comes. So with him, I was personally telling him every milestone that I hit when it was $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week, $3,000 a week. I'm telling him all of this. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't paying attention to his personal life and what's going on, the changes that was happening in him. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't realize what that was creating in him, and it was a problem, And so he told the guy, don't read the contract. That's personal information, And so I was like, so end of the day, I only worked like 5 hours a day. I take the contract, and we talking about it real quick, and I'm about to leave, and he basically is like, "Well, what are you doing with that?" And I was like, "I gotta go. I'm gonna read it before I sign it." He was like, "You ain't gotta sign that." And so at this point, I see where he at. Like, he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, something's going on. And I was like, "What?" I said, "Why would you give it to me if I ain't supposed to read it and sign it?" And then I just left, right? And I'm going home. I'm sorry, this story is long because I'm a detailed person. As you can see, my haircuts, I'm detailed. Am I going too long, David, or should I cut it short?
No, man, finish the story. You
Okay,
already
okay.
laid
I
down.
don't
You
want
done
to go
got us
too
in the
long.
car.
So I'm leaving, and I remember stuff in images. You know what I'm saying? So like it's all like always fresh to me, no matter what I've done. You know, I can always just recap a story like this. And so I'm leaving, and I'm just like, bro, this don't make no sense. So I called the same old school barber that told me that he was just joking, right? And he's like, the one that said he's just playing. I never seen him do this to no one. I said, hey, your boy trying to go up on my booth for $45 extra. And so he says, man, that's crazy. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna talk to him. That ain't right. And so after we get done talking, I go on about my day. He calls the owner. He has a nice, clear conversation with the owner, and the owner tells him there'll be new contracts tomorrow. I'm like, dang, you wouldn't even listen to nothing I said. And this dude called you, now you done flip-flopped and changed your mind, and now you got a whole new contract that's coming out tomorrow. What is it going to say? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I know him. He's the type, like, he'll call me. I'm at dinner with my family. He'll call me. It don't matter. You know, if he got something on his mind, whatever time it is, he might be up at 3 in the morning. He going to text you, or he going to tag you on Facebook or something, you know. And so I was like, I
Yeah.
know him. I don't want to hear from him right now. So I blocked him. I can't lie. But I was like, I'm going to block him because I know he's going to try to reach out to me. And I don't want to hear from him right now because at this point, I'm like, if you can flip-flop like that, but you don't want to hear nothing I say, I'm not even sure that I even want to continue to work for you. You know what I'm saying? I do too much and I give too much of myself to be in this situation that we're in right now. So I put him on block. I was going to take it off when I was ready to talk. And so I actually, that next morning, I didn't start until 2 p.m. And so in the morning, I got up and I actually went and looked at some suites. And over here, we're in the area that I'm at now. And I went, none of them, they were all like full or whatever. And I just wanted to go see, like, what is these suites like? I keep hearing about, I never wanted no suite. I just wanted to be in the shop, helping out, doing everything with the guys. And so by this time, it's almost time for me to start work. It's almost 1 o'clock. I'm driving. I'm like 2 minutes away from the shop. And I unblock my phone. Oh, no. That night, he had texted me, and I didn't respond. And then I put him on block. And so I unblocked him. His message said, hey, can we meet in the morning? And so when I unblocked him, I texted him back. I said, I couldn't. I was busy. And his reply was, cool, come pack your stuff. And so I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, hold on, what? And so I text him back. I put wrong person, question mark, 3 question marks, wrong person is what I said. And then he said, no, you've outgrown the shop. And so I'm like, okay, I've outgrown the shop all of a sudden. Now, would I have outgrown the shop if I'd have gave you that extra $45 a week? Or have I outgrown the shop because I don't want to just do what you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? And honestly, when I talk to people and when I look at it, I had outgrown the space that I was in. That's a true statement. But the way that he went about doing it, I felt like had malice intent. You know what I'm saying? And so I come to the shop, bro, and I walk in the door, bro. I'm like tunnel vision. We start at 2. This is like 15 minutes till. And so nobody's in the shop. One of the barbers was outside. The old school barber was outside. And I told him, I'm like, say, man, this dude just sent me a text saying to come pack your stuff. And so I walk into the shop, right? I see old school's customer sitting in the front. He's on my right. And the owner's sitting like at his table. He had a table right in the middle of the shop. and he's just sitting there on the bar stool. And I look at my station, and he has this thing like whenever, cause he fired like 6 people last year, bro. Like everybody got fired, bro. And so, but what he does is he don't talk to you before you come in, and when you come in, you gonna see this cardboard box on the station. And so we always made a joke. Yes, bro. He gonna put a box for your stuff on your station. So we always had a joke like whenever we, barbershop arguing or you don't agree with them, like, all right, man, don't you gonna find that box on your station? You better start arguing. You better start joking. And so I walk in. And I look to the right. I look at him. I see the customer. I look at him. Then I look at my station. And it's the biggest cardboard box sitting in my chair, bro. It was so big that it's sitting up on the arms of the chair, right? It's a big old box. And so, man, I'm like, I go over there. I'm like, bro, this is crazy, bro. And then so I just instantly start putting my stuff in the box, right? And then
You was crying.
no, I wasn't, bro. But this is what happened. It was just the most awkward thing that I've ever experienced. And so he says this. He says, he's like, I was like, say, man, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I say that. And he was like, I'm thinking we about to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? And this is what his response was. This is the craziest thing in my life. And this one I knew, like, okay, yeah, it was beyond time. Like, the relationship had been severed at this point, obviously. His response after I say, man, what's up? Like, thinking we're going to talk about it is, hey, that's your 2 o'clock customer over there. I already canceled your appointment and told her that you'll cut her hair when you find a new place to work. At this point, when I walked in, I only seen the dude, the other customer, I seen the owner, and I seen that box. And so it was like a movie, bro. Like, I spent in slow motion, like, and I just seen my customer just sitting over there. And she looking at it. It's an older black lady. She like 60. And I'm like, oh my God, did this nigga, like, oh my bad, y'all. Did this dude really say that he canceled my appointment? Mind you, we don't got no POS system where you call into the shop and you deal with, whoever let me schedule this appointment. This is my customer who logged into my online booking site and booked with me. And you done told them that I'm fired before I knew. It was like a athlete that turned to ESPN and seen he got traded. You know what I'm saying? So this dude that told my person that you canceled my appointment. You told her that I'm fired and that I'm gonna So anyway, I can't think no more. The story getting long.
It sounds like you got a lawsuit on your hands to me.
Huh? You said a lawsuit?
Wrongful termination, defamation of character. What did the original contract say? How long was the original contract for?
The contracts are, I believe the contracts are 6-month contracts. And so we had just signed one in July. Yeah, like June, July. And so it wasn't, December, January. It should have been a brand new contract. Except for he, you know what I'm saying? Because he was ready.
And when was that?
Huh?
So
this was November. That day was November the 5th. Yeah.
So you signed the original contract. So he had a breach of contract.
Yep. But I mean, honestly, it's not worth pursuing.
Lost wages, defamation of character, wrongful termination.
Yeah. And so look, mind you, like I said, I'm booked every single day, like no gaps. So I had like 9 people on the books. This is a Monday. I had 9-10 people. I had to call everybody else. Say, man, I'm no longer at the shop. I'll call you back and we'll get you rescheduled when I find a new place to work. I had to go through and call all them people, and they like, dang, that's crazy. What's going on? So I'm talking to people. I didn't cry in the car tray. Scrap, bruh. Scrap.
Hey, so really, that's a good point too. I mean, you're talking about you was paying $185 for booth rent back in 2007. What, 17?
I was paying what?
What year was this?
Oh, $185. This was just last year.
And haircuts were $15.
So haircuts were $17 at that point, but the year before it was $15.
And
so
before $185.
So yeah, we went up to $185. But like I said, for me personally, I was doing appointments only. And that's why I was like, yes, you allow me to go up on my prices, but my team, these guys are putting in good work, and I personally feel like no haircut should be less than $20. You have the longest standing barber at the shop has been there 10, 11 years. It's no way he should not be getting $20 on every single haircut. Yes, I'm going to shows and stuff, but these dudes is putting in work and they putting out great haircuts. You know what I'm saying? So I argue 2 years in a row to
That's
get them
the
raises, bro.
that's the that's the important part. Like we all like to go to hair shows. Um, I think the do we have any more questions in this comment section? I can't see the comments, but
Man, we ain't got no questions. We got a lot of people cracking these dang jokes.
uh, we all like to go to hair shows, but I think it's important for like you as a whole team to go to the show. Cause ain't nothing worse than coming back from a hair show all motivated, talking about $50 haircuts, and you come back to, Tyrone and Wayne that are just like, man, shut all that new age stuff up, boy. Get over here and cut these $15 haircuts.
I did it too many times, bro. It's the
I mean, I
craziest
did the
feeling.
same thing.
When you come home, all you want to do is cut, and nobody else in the room feel like how you feel. But I started encouraging them to come, and they came. Like the owner and the manager came with me to what's the show that we was both at, and I didn't know you were there, in Florida, Premiere. So yeah, I convinced the owner and the manager to come, and then we all went to Las Vegas for the what is it? The bagel show. And so the whole shop came, bro. Like we all, maybe two people didn't come, but the majority, we all went out there, had a good time when doing stuff all together. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff that I encourage because I feel like these dudes, bro, I'm working 7 days a week. I'm in here 10, 11, 12 hours a day. And I see y'all when y'all come. I see y'all when y'all go. And this is my family. My real family, yes, my wife and kids is at home, but I'm spending a lot of time with you cats. So I want it to be like the best environment that it can be,
I mean, you spend more time at the shop than you do at home. I mean,
yeah, way more.
If you're not counting sleep. So it's like you have to mesh. And I think it's important for like I said earlier, when you're getting out of barbering school, going into finding your shop, making sure that you're on the same page and the same accord as the shop owner. See if your shop owner cares about doing Instagram perfect haircuts. See if your shop owner wants to do a high production, fast in and out haircut type situation. When I started working at Great Clips, my first week, they pulled me aside. They're like, you're doing nice haircuts, but we really need to bring your times down. Right now, you're sitting at 21 minutes per cut. And I'm like, man, that's record time for me. What you talking about?
Hey, what was the time limit? What was the time limit?
They told me I have 12 to 17 minutes.
Yes, bro. It was 15 minutes at Supercuts, bro.
But we're not even talking about 12 to 17 minutes cutting hair. From the time that customer checks in, you hit on the computer, begin service, to the time you wipe his card, transaction done, that's 17 minutes. So we ain't talking about 17 minutes. I'm, cleaning up his neck. We out the door at 17 minutes.
Hey, somebody else already in the chair.
Yeah, exactly. No next scripts, no nothing.
But did you notice coming out of that situation? Because when I left that situation, I was still cutting hair on the sides, right? On the side. And so I'm in there cutting hair. I got my haircuts down. Mind you, I'm in barber school, and it's like an hour haircut. And I'm working on my time. But by the time I get in there, I'm down to like 30 minutes. And they're like, you got to speed it up. I'm around your time, like 25, 24 minutes. And my manager was like, if you can he said, I understand you're doing something that nobody else in here is doing. Like you're fading, you're using these guards and stuff. They're two clip over comb, you done. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, I understand you're not doing the same thing, but can you please at least just get it down to 19 minutes? I can live with 19 minutes. And so I got down to that. But once I left there and got in a regular barbershop, I was like, what are y'all doing on these haircuts? Like, why is it taking y'all so long? At this point, I'm just like, I'm still in that 20-something minute range. And it was just like, I'm looking around like, and these guys are looking at me like, this dude is getting these dudes out of here too fast.
So let me digress. When I graduated barber school, I went to work while I was in barber school, I was shadowing a barbershop. I went to work at that barbershop. Like, I would go in on my off time, I would answer the phone, I would sweep up for free. answer all the phone calls. I was the receptionist, you know. Um, but when I graduated, I was like, okay, it's game time. Let me cut hair. I got in there. I tried maybe like 2 or 3 haircuts, and the owner pulled me aside. He's like, hey, bro, you cutting hair too slow. Like, and this wasn't like great because this is a real barbershop.
Dang.
You cutting hair too slow. This is the #1 shop in the city. You're cutting hair too slow. Go work at Great Clips. Get comfortable with clippers.
Oh, so this is before that. Got you.
Yeah, this is before I actually tried working at a real barbershop, and I failed. So when I went to work at Great Clips, I went to work at Great Clips for 30 days. I did 30 days straight cut hair, no days off. I worked at Great Clips, and when I was off on Great Clips, I was at the other barbershop grabbing cherry picking, easy, 4 on the sides, you know, simple stuff. And then what I found with working at Great Clips and stuff was we care too much about this stuff that the clients don't care about, bro. They do not care about this stuff. These guys are asking for skin face. I'm seeing these girls in here doing no guard clothes. Boom, boom, boom. Fade, done. They're like, oh, thank you. See you next week. And I'm looking like, that ain't no skin fade. Where's your 245 shave gel and your facial steamer? Not your 245 shave gel. I love it. I use it every day. But it's the stuff you think you care about. So when I went back to the real barbershop, I'm comfortable now because I see what society says is a good haircut. So I'm in there, me and my boy James, I'm cutting right next to James. He over here worried about this little line from his shaver to his trimmers to his other trimmers to his masters to his detachables to his shears to his.
You got 30 levels in his haircut.
I'm like, bruh, watch this. I'm cutting like this. They call me no look because I be talking,
oh, man,
looking over here.
Bro. Come on, man.
I'm cutting like, hey man, what are y'all doing? Because me and this client having a good time. Yeah, dog, talking about your dog, your wife, your kids, somebody graduated, the boat sank, whatever. I'm making this client have a good time. I'm interacting with the person across the room. I'm talking to their client. We got jokes going across the shop. I'm fussing at somebody's child being their stepdaddy in the waiting room. And this client does not care. He looks at the mirror and he looks at the silhouette of his haircut. He looks at the shape of his haircut. He doesn't turn to the side with another mirror and look at the blur from his skin to his trimmer to his
so
one.
He's looking for a blurry fade.
No, he's looking for a good shape. He looks like a regular human being. He got a good service, and I'm a reliable barber. That's what he's looking for.
Let me stop you right here. I have to reintroduce y'all to David Ward because as y'all hear, what he's saying is the opposite of what you see on Instagram. Tell these people real quick where they can follow you at so they can see your work. And the reason I want them to see your work is because your work is the type of work that will make you a lot of money in this industry and will let you service a lot of customers. It's not that you are taking an hour and a half to do this fade. It's practical work. If you guys are hearing him speak, this is the type of work that it's 50 times better than what these people have been getting, but it doesn't take the amount of detail as we think, us barbers think, that will produce a good haircut. Because as he's saying, if you're listening, the customers, the typical average customer does not know what a great haircut is. They're looking at, as he's saying, and we're talking our white clientele, right? They are looking for the shape. What does it look like? Does something stick out further this way? You know what I'm saying? They're looking at shape. They're looking, and honestly, most white people, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
We'll say straight hair. I'm not going to go with white people. Straight hair.
We'll say straight hair. Because a lot of Hispanics and stuff like that, they didn't grow up in the regular barbershops. They're coming from salons and stuff like that as well. The industry has shifted now. But straight hair clients, and I don't know, can you attest to this, that they don't expect their haircut to look good week 1? They don't like their haircut. It looks decent. That's why if you hand them the mirror, it's cut. I see it's cut. Week 2, it's growing. It's starting to look a little bit better to me. Week 3, if you cut their hair right, week 3's grow out looks great to them. Week 4 is too long. I'm about to get ready for another haircut. And if they don't come week 4, week 5, they'll be in there. Is that true? A true statement, or is that false?
The
For
grow
the
back is
majority
mostly
of like the clipper cut, I mean the super cuts type clientele.
it's tricky because like where I was at, I was in a military town, so
Uh huh.
we had high turnover rates. Those guys getting their haircut every week, so it didn't matter for my cowlick. I could chop it off, I could leave it on. It didn't matter.
Oh,
They're
gotcha.
getting a haircut next week. So
Yeah, military is different. That's different, definitely.
when I was working at Great Clips, now when I went and worked at a real barbershop where we're doing drop fades to complement the occipital bone and do all that stuff, that's where it separates you. That's where you get your higher ticket average because now you're doing tailored haircuts
Mm-hmm.
to the client's head shape. You're not getting no tailored haircut from a 12-minute haircut. I don't care if your cowlick is difficult, I'm chopping it off. It's out of here. We'll worry about that. We'll worry about that next week, the week after that. But when you give a client a good haircut and that grow back is good, they understand. They know. I've had clients here like, man, I don't know what you did, but it's so easy to style my hair now because I learned to layer a haircut to the front, marry the haircut to. Cause I used to do, you take the bang down and just cut it straight across, and then I'll swoop that thing over there, and hey, that was we in there. I didn't know to connect it, doing vertical sections across the top of the head. I did, doing stuff like that, learning how to correctly use thinning shears versus texturizing shears. That's when your ticket average starts going up. And the ticket average has nothing to do with how good you are at cutting hair.
People pay more
Nothing to
when they
do with how
like you,
good you
man.
are.
When they like you, they pay more.
It has not. Your ticket average should reflect on how booked you are. I've seen barbers that I didn't think were the best, but they're booked. I'm looking at soup bowls walk out the shop over and over again. And I'm like, bro, why is this happening? Because you give that client what they want. I tell people to always pay attention to when their client first sits down. You turn them around and look your facial clients in the mirror and say, hey, man, what can I do for you today? If you look at their hands and they go like this, the first thing they do is touch the top of their head. That lets you know that they care about this bang. That's their first thing they care about. Like, hey, what can I do for you? I want to, fade on the side, but up here, it's kind of doing this thing. That needs to be your focus. That you need to focus on that. They don't care about the fade. Now, you have some clients that do care about fade, and they're going to let you know. Or if somebody's real adamant about their beard, they care about their beard more than their hair.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you need to focus on figure out what your client wants out of this service and focus on that. And stop focusing on what you think will look best for Instagram.
One thing that you said, man, that's really big that I noticed is fixing a problem. So when barbers don't know how to tailor a haircut or work around those cowlicks to where it don't stick up no more, a lot of the time that problem area will get you a client that's going to keep coming back because you're the only person that's been able to cut that and keep their cowlick from sprouting up on them. They're like, man, every time I look in the mirror, I don't want to see this, and I don't know what you did, but it's fixed. I'm coming back. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it could be as little as something. Just pay attention to consultation. Pay attention to the consultation. Pay attention to what they're looking for out of the service, and stop worrying about how blurry this fade is, and asking Chris Bossio to rate your cut. Like, it's not even hating on Bossio. I like Bossio.
No, I know what you mean.
Bossio,
I know what you mean.
He ain't paying my light bill. Why do I care about Bossio's opinion on my haircut? Like, it's crazy.
Like I said, that's the shifting of our industry right now.
We have kids. I say kids because I'm talking about anybody starting off cutting hair that care about Chris Bossio's opinion on their client's haircut more than their client's opinion on their own haircut. They didn't ask the client how they liked the haircut. They took a picture of it, posted it on Instagram, tagged 245 and said, hey, can you rate my cut 1 to 10? Yeah. This is like
repost.
what is a repost going to do for you right now? It's crazy. But that's the world we live in now.
Let's get to some of these comments real quick. Oh, go ahead. We'll do it after this.
Go ahead.
All right. So what I got posted right there, you guys, that is my guy David's Instagram, D Ward Scissorhands. You guys can go on there, follow him, check him out, man, and you guys can learn the art of true barbering. Everything doesn't have to be. And I like his pictures because he doesn't try to post only the best haircuts. He posts real haircuts. You know what I'm saying? They're not no Photoshop, no nothing to them. This is real haircuts where he's got real money, guys giving him real 20, 30, $50 tips, you know,
Whoa, don't
and
try me with that 20. We started 30 and above, Skip.
my bad. 30, he in a retirement city where it's a bunch of old rich, you know what I'm saying, rich folks.
Average income.
All right, so let's get to some of these real quick. My guy Zay, and let me know if. Well, I was gonna say if anybody wants to join us and feel like they should be heard, got something to say, I will add you into this. I will send you the link, and we have 3 people sitting up here. We can have a panel if y'all want to, man. I love this new software that I got. But let's see. Zay was good, man. He says, what was he on, man? My guy was on something different, bro. He had a lot of stuff going on. Hey, I love him to death. He's actually came and visited me a couple times at my suite, and bro, I got no malice in my heart, man. I've been blessed by the Lord, so I don't even trip on stuff like that no more, man. Let's see, Kwame, my brother-in-law, man, what's good, bro? Yeah, Jay, it was crazy, man. Joe, I know y'all went through some of the same stuff we went through. Let me see. Let's scroll through some of these. Now, my sister, what's up, Lulu? I'm glad you have your own. Yeah, man, it feels better. I didn't cry in the car, Jay. Stop tripping. Uh, let's see. Should I dive into barber school, bro? Of course. Like, if you want to grow. So, I was cutting hair at home, and I was making money. It wasn't as much money, but yes, I was making money at home. Me being licensed and also me having a family, a wife and kids, and trying to do better for myself. You don't want everybody in your house. And with COVID and all this stuff, you don't want to be in everybody's house. So you put yourself in a situation to where you have a controlled, as much control as you can have in a barbershop. Me, I'm in a suite, so my room is fully controlled. I'm dusting and sweeping and Cloroxing everything after, each customer. But I can do more in a business than I can at home. I can grow as much. I don't want everybody in my house, but I want to cut everybody's hair. Honestly, I got some shady people that I cut sometimes, and I don't talk about everything with them. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't invite that person to my home. You never know what a person's thoughts are. So that's why I say, man, get licensed. You never know. After Joe Biden get in there, he might be canceling out all barber licenses, and you can go straight to a shop and get trained on the job. So we just don't know right now. How much is the price for a haircut when you have a suite? The price is whatever you want. Just have that money every week to pay your pay your rent.
Yeah, I mean a suite is a subcontracted out space. Maybe you might not know what a suite is, so you're just renting a small space. It's a big booth rent, pretty much, right?
Yeah. So I went from renting a space from a shop owner that had his own price list and all that kind of stuff to being in an independent. I had to get a license for a what's called what's that license called? It's here in Texas. It's basically like a miniature barber shop. So there's a license that I had to get for that, and I'm in a mini shop, so I charge whatever I feel is best for me and my customers, that where we can meet to where I'm not super high and I'm not super low. So me personally, my basic haircut is at $30. You want a 30-minute haircut, $30. So that's where I'm at right now. Do you have clients that don't sit still, not kids? Do you have clients that move around a lot? That's Trey is saying this.
Yeah. I'm a pretty vocal person, and I'm 6'2", 250 pounds. So most of the time when I'm cutting hair, and if I see, you know who's moving and who's not. I mean, this hand does a lot, man. Like, you control the head, you control the body. Ain't no moving when you're here with it. Or I'll stop cutting hair and just stand there. I've had clients, that want to be on the phone, I'm not saying you do this.
This
You
dude
know
ain't no
yourself.
joke. I'm not 6'2", 280, man, 250.
I've had my clients sitting there texting. You know, they want to sit. They sitting like this.
Yeah.
I'm doing a tape. You sitting like this on the phone. I'll stand in front of you and just stand there with my clippers. But just know, in my head, I know that your appointment's over at 4:30. So however far we get at 4:30, that's on you. Because
See,
you was
when
on the
you a
phone
big
for
dude and you got
15
a
minutes.
beard, you can do stuff like that. You can tell a person get out the chair. Hey, nah, you up? Your time is up, man. You already had your shine.
I don't even. It's not even like that. I'm just gonna. I know in my head
Yeah.
where my time is. I'm gonna hand that mirror at 4:30, 4:29. How's it look? They might be like, hit me with that if you want to. That was your fault.
Yeah, yeah. So this is what I do. I'll stop. I'll say, hey, man, because I don't mind. Like I feel like I always allow people to be on the phone and do whatever they feel like they need to do in the chair. Because what I say was, I'm preparing to cut the Puff Daddies, the jet. Like I said, I want to be the greatest. I'm like, bro, them cats gonna be on business calls. They might be having 2 phones. So
Oh
I
man,
never
here we go.
tripped out about people being on the phone. That was like, I knew one day I was gonna be cutting like businessmen in my mind. So I always had that to where I wouldn't mind a person having their phone. But I will tell you, if you being on your phone is impeding me trying to service you, and I'll tell it like this: once you guys, if you haven't already, if you've cut athletes, NFL, NBA, these guys got 2 phones, they social media guys, and they like this in your chair. I got one of them, I was doing a house call. He's trying to play Call of Duty while I'm trying to edge him up. And I'm like, bro, say, man, I'll tell you. I told him, I said, look, bro, you ain't call me over here to watch you play the game. You called me over here to cut your hair. I done been at work all day. Now I'm at your house after work. It's like 11. I'm not going to get home to 12, 12:30 in the morning. I'm driving from Frisco, Texas, where the Dallas, where the Star is, where the Cowboys practice, all the way to my home in Rockwall, and that's an hour drive. And it's like, bro, look, nah. So when I'm in the shop, I tell people like, hey, all right, you got to put the phone up now, or hey, hold on real quick, let me do this part. But I won't just stand there because
Look,
I'm
I'll
not
tell
gonna
you
be
like
trying to
this.
debo nobody, bro.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Stop it.
with exceptions.
The D and D
I'm talking
ward
about you
stand
being
for Debo, bro.
if you're being excessive with it, I'm not finna do this. You know why you're here. You're a grown man. You know. Uh, I'm going back to my boy Jason. I remember Jason. He'll be lining somebody up. They chew gum. He'll just pick up the trash can and hold it in front of their face. Spit the gum out.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I'll just
can't.
tell them.
You
I'll say
can't chew
stop
gum
chewing.
my
'Cause
shit.
I don't want you to feel like I'm acting like you in school or something. That's what the teachers used to hold their hand so you can spit the gum in their hand.
I mean, he would do it to like his homeboys. It'd be like homeboy clients. He ain't doing this to the lawyer that just walked in. But
Let's scroll through some of
anyway,
these.
yeah.
What advice would you give to someone thinking about getting into this business? Advice. I say
I got.
passion over profit. If you chase the passion, if you're chasing getting better, I feel like the money comes. But there's a line that I draw in between that because as we've been discussing, if that passion is taking you into well over the hour mark or even the hour mark when it should have taken you 30 minutes, at that point, you're just being slow. You know what I'm saying? So time is everything, but I'm not on, I don't know. Passion over profit, that's what I say. David, go ahead.
I say, you have to set a goal for yourself. You have to set goals. It's all about the goals. Like with me, when I first started, when I actually got into the established shop, I was coming in, you know, it'd be slow. I wouldn't just squeeze in no walk-ins. And my checks weren't really looking like I wanted them to look. And I talked to my boy James. James is older than me. He's been cutting hair for 20 years, but we were in barber school together. It's a long story. He moved from New York, so he had to transfer his license to Georgia. He had to go back to school. Regardless, he already knew. He already knew the game. He's been cutting hair for 20 years. He said, my goal is this dollar amount every day.
Huh.
And I said, what you mean? He's like, that's what I'm trying to get to every day. So I said in my head, I want to do 200. That was my goal. And so days I would come in and do 160, and 4 or 5 o'clock hits, and I end up going home early. I would end up staying because I'm like, oh, I got to get to that 200. And that 200 made my checks go where I wanted them to be as a new barber. I was making decent money. But I had to set that goal for myself. And consistency is if you can, I can give my son, my 11-year-old son, a pair of clippers and sit him in a barbershop and tell him to work from 9 to 7, 6 days a week. And I guarantee you, by the end of 2021, he'll have a decent little clientele. And he don't know how to cut hair at all. Just because he's consistent and he's always at the shop. And people know, that's why great clips, that's why your sports clips are so popular. They're consistent and they're convenient. You can't compete with that. What make male barbers so competitive? Why?
I don't want to go. I ain't mean to click on that one. I don't want to go over that because I think guys in general, a lot of guys in general are just competitive when they shouldn't be. Um,
Yeah.
it's been placed as a part of our nature, but it don't make sense. Like we've been talking about this whole time. A shop runs better when it's a team atmosphere. You know, when we're working together, like you said, taking pictures for the person next to him because it looks clean. I would go out my way to look around to see what guys are doing in the shop just to acknowledge that their talent is good. Like, hey man, I see you over there. Man, that fade is nice. You know what I'm saying? That bro, you got that.
Man,
That
customers love that.
Yeah, they feel
I
good,
call that
especially if
shit,
they
man.
the one in the chair.
Yeah. I'm over here, I'm shooting alley oops all day. God dang, boy, hey, next time you cut my hair, put me in the game like that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing all that.
And it's a morale boost. It's a confidence boost. You know, it's only gonna build the people that you're around. Let's see. This dude need YouTube? Question mark. He has an Instagram. If that's what you mean.
Nah, I ain't got YouTube, man. I'm the old average barber, man.
He say old, and he look old, but he not that old, y'all. He like 30, bro.
I got an old soul, man.
He 30.
I'm 30.
This dude Trey is crazy, bro. He's funny. He said he feel like we in church, and he said I know tithes and offering coming up next. Say man,
Hey,
if
my cash
you
not
want to
putting
send
in.
anything, I ain't never knocked nothing, bro. Let's see.
Hey, I'm
That
just
D
saying.
Ward Scissorhands is his Instagram. I'll put that back up there for you guys. Let's see. Does it really take 3 hours for a fade? Seems like guys run their mouth and more than they truly be cutting. It doesn't take that long. Whenever you're talking and having a good time, it's definitely gonna slow down. So I try to keep my talking to a minimum when it comes to people outside of me, especially when I was at the point where I was super busy in the shop, but the other guys weren't as busy. So I found it a lot of my customers would find it annoying that people would talk to me because they were chilling and I'm working, and my customer like, I came to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So I had people point that out before. So you have to know your clientele, know who you can talk around, who you can laugh and joke with. Everybody doesn't want to talk to you. Every customer that you have
So
doesn't always want to talk.
it's I think a cool part about barbering is it's almost like being a stand-up comedian
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to reading a room. And it's not just reading the room to make people laugh. It's reading the room to de-escalate situations. Like, say your new barber's in here messing somebody's haircut up. You have to be able to focus on your haircut and look over there and be ready to help him at any given moment. Know when to intervene or just let him drown. Perfect. Another example is I cut hair next to a girl named Maya. She's Bulgarian, so she has a really thick accent, and she doesn't really hear too good out of her left ear. So a lot of times, she don't be wanting to talk to her clients. She can cut hair great. She does some amazing things with shears. I watch her all the time with her shear work. It's crazy. But a lot of times she won't want to talk to her clients. So I'll be cutting my client's hair. I'm laughing with my client, and I got a conversation going on with that client in her chair too. I'm playing her role, and it's funny because like if I call in or I don't go in one day, she'll tell me like my clients were looking for you, Like they like the way she cuts their hair, but they like having a conversation with me. And that's just part of it. It's creating that ambiance until you get to the point where Manyweather is, where you have enough clients where you don't have to worry about necessarily doing the whole play the room and doing all that, which is it's best of both worlds, man. You just gotta figure out what works for you. Honestly, coming straight out of barber school, I wouldn't suggest anybody just hop straight into a suite. I mean,
Oh,
it's
that's tough.
doable. It's doable, but
One of the guys at the suite, when I first got there, like that's what he did. That was his first experience, like straight out of barber school.
who do you have? You don't have anybody to learn from if you're
Nothing.
sitting there cutting hair. It's like if if I never heard anybody sing before in my life, and I'm just thinking in my bathroom, I'm like, man,
I'm nice.
Mariah Carey ain't got nothing on me. And then I go out here into the real world, and they're like, man, what you got going on?
Yeah.
Hey, I thought I could sing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I feel that.
I say the barbershop experience is important for learning.
I see a lot of guys talking about they want to own. They're coming out of barber school and trying to go own a shop right away, and it's something in like you said that experience of getting a barbershop experience, get up on under an owner. Like even though I told you guys this crazy story about how I got fired, I can look back over those 6.5, almost 7 years, and I can think about every positive thing that the owner was able to teach me, whether it was things about manhood, financial, spiritual things, how to manage and run a barbershop. Like I grew as a man, as a barber, as a father. Like it was so many different things that I learned from this individual and the other guys, and even a lot of the customers. You know, I learned a lot, and so I can take that stuff and I can go open up a shop and I'd be good, and I know how to do it. But if I hadn't stepped foot in that shop, like I can't say that it would be like that. So I really don't recommend it like right away. You know.
I mean, we're not saying it's not possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
I mean, Tyler Trotter, he did it great. He vlogged his whole experience through barber school. Went out of barber school. I think he opened his own shop straight out of barber school, and he's been doing great through his own hair show a couple months back. Well, not a couple months. That was last year.
Yeah.
Dang, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, exceptions aren't the rule.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't get caught up on that. Is there any other questions?
All right, so you guys heard that bell. We're in rapid fire mode. Now we're gonna get through these last few questions, and we're gonna wrap it up, bro. You like how I did that, huh? I clicked the bell.
Oh, okay.
It just went off on its own. All right, so we got Kwame says he's going to sleep. Good night, bro. Next question: what barbers do you guys look up to, Instagram or YouTube? I really don't know what to like look up to. Like, do I want to be like them? It's weird. I don't know how to answer this other than this.
Okay, I got an answer for that.
Okay, you can go first, and then I'll craft my answer over here.
I think it's important not to, I guess for lack of a better word, worship false idols. When you're looking up to these people, what are you looking up to them for? I don't look up to 360 Jeezy because he's the best barber in the world. I look up to 360 Jeezy because he has amazing work ethic. So I look up to him for that. I don't look at Basio because he's the best barber in the world. Same thing, great work ethic. I've met him in person, cool guy. That's why I look up to him. Not necessarily in barbering. When you say, who do I look up to as a barber, the answer should be the best barber in your barber shop. If that's not your answer, you're in the wrong barber shop. That's who you need to look up to. That's who you need to idolize. That person, that's who's going to have the most effect on your career. It's cool to look at what Jeezy's doing, what Bossy is doing, what Get Beamed is doing, but why are you looking up to them? Is it because of what they're doing in their videos or the work ethic in what they're doing? Yeah. That's what I look up to because it's hard for me because I've cut hair next to some amazing barbers. So like Jason, I put my money, I tell you this all the time, I put my money up on Jason versus any barber in America.
Yeah.
Does he have a huge YouTube following, Instagram following? No. I mean, he has a decent Instagram following now, but he's not nothing huge. So do I? That's who I look at. I look at people like that. He's doing flawless looking haircuts. Well, never mind. There's no such thing as a flawless haircut, but he's doing amazing haircuts
Right.
in
Right.
30 minutes and making good money. So it's like, what? Find out your why. Why you look up to who you're looking up to. Because I used to be one. Like when I graduated barber school, I was like, I just want to be a platform artist. I just want to go cut hair on the stage. And I started going to the hair shows, and I started doing the math on how much platform artists make versus how much I could have made if I just stayed at home.
Stayed at home.
Instead of cutting hair on the stage. And why did I want to do that? Was it for the clout or was it for the money? And once I realized the logistics behind it, I was like, this doesn't really make sense. I could make this much cutting at home, going to sleep in my own bed every night, or I could be up here on stage and, stroking my own ego. Now, is that saying that's wrong? Some people like that. If that's what you're into, I'm not knocking you, but figure out why you're, looking up to whoever you're looking up to.
Yeah, every show that I've been to, I always lost money and spent money.
For sure.
You lose money because you're leaving the shop. You're going to be gone for a few days, paying for hotel, transportation, food, fun.
The small possibility that you could potentially lose clients, not saying you will, but I mean, it's possible they go somewhere else, get a haircut, and never come back to you. That's
but
what is that worth?
I love your answer when you said the person in your shop. Because one thing that I always knew, I never knew how much those guys that we see on Instagram, though they have the following, fantastic following, you don't know how much money they make. You might be making more than them. But one thing that you do know is that guy that's the busiest in the shop, you see his chair spinning on a daily basis, and he's making great money, and you can actually touch him. You can talk and learn from him. Like, that's who you should be looking up to. I love that answer. I got certain barbers that at certain times I look at their work and I'll be like, bruh, if I could just get a class from him, like, I know I'd be 50 times better. And that is Western Barber on Instagram, and his partner Taylor Cuts on Instagram as well.
Taylor Cuts?
Taylor Cuts. He's a black dude out there in
LA.
Yeah. He work over there with A-Rod and them. And but my favorite right now, it used to be Western Barber. So my favorite Instagram barber, because his haircuts is always clean. I don't know how long they take. Jesus the Barber, but I think it's with a G. G-E-S-U-S or something like that. He's out of Colorado. This fool goes hard. Like, but I can't say, oh, I look up to you. Like, I want to be like how a kid would be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like said,
that's what I'm saying.
So, hey, AC, how old are you, man? You sound like a youngster. Favorite trimmer and clipper? Go.
Gold FX skeletons for trimmer and cordless wall seniors. But I used those cordless masters last week, and I like them.
I'll ask you cordless and I'll ask you corded. Give me the corded.
On clippers?
Yeah.
It depends. I don't know. But see, that's what I'm saying. Clippers are designed for different jobs. I can't say. When I was working at Great Clips, my corded seniors, them 5-star seniors, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
Now when I
cut hair with them wet. I mean, you can cut the hair when it's wet.
It's a tank. It can run through anything.
Yeah.
Now, when I have more time to polish haircuts, I have more time to play with my masters and figure them out. So I like my masters now. But if I had to pick, I would go with my cordless seniors and my Gold FX trimmers.
Okay, if you took all the clippers from me in the world, corded or cordless, and I had to stick with one clipper, it's definitely going to be my masters. I went to barber school, and they gave me a pair of masters, and I've always had masters in my arsenal ever since. Trimmers, Cordless, I'll go with the FX are top trimmers, the Gold FX. Corded, I'll go T outliner all day. So
Oh yeah, well T outliner is like the one in front of the X. That's understood. I don't even think that needs to be said anymore. But I, I
I
think
crush
it's really
fades.
important.
I heard of him. He had some good work too. My bad. Go ahead.
Who was it?
I crush fades. I've seen his work. He cuts
I think
hair
it's
like kind of like Captain Smash. I mean Smash the Legend. He changed his name. Smash the Legend. Hey, quick question. How do you feel about barbers having rapper names like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, like
I
I
think it's
go ahead.
I don't know, man. You know, like I said, I got an old soul, but I appreciate the appeal behind it. I don't necessarily look up to those guys and want to be like those guys,
Uh huh.
but I think it's cool when young kids look at barbers now and think that that's a cool job to have. Versus when we were growing up, it was just like, yeah, he's a barber. But what does he do for a real job?
People
You
still
know
ask me
what?
that, like, what else you do on the side? I'm like, huh?
Yeah, like
I
bro,
don't do nothing else. What
I'm
you talking
making,
about?
I'm good. What you mean? I'm making more than you are. Same
Right,
here.
right.
So what do you want? But so I like that side of it. So I
Uh-huh.
don't knock it, and that it all plays a part in that price. You know, like clients like seeing that stuff too. They like seeing you go to hair shows and win competitions. That all plays in marketing and your pricing. I'd
But I
say
think
I'm
it's
the
weird
number
when they
one
don't know your
barber.
real name, bro.
That is a little weird.
I cut people hair. I'm
Um,
like, where you used to get your hair cut? Oh man, Hot 97 cut me up, man. What's his name? I'm trying to see if I know him. I don't even know his name. Everybody just call him that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, what? We're humans. What's your name, fool?
I had a client come in the other day telling me, so I said, "Who used to cut your hair, man?" Oh, my guy's name is the Goat.
Come on, bro.
I said the Goat. Well, whatever, man.
Come
My
on,
name's
bro.
David.
That's
You know
what
what
I
I
did
mean?
do. I'll say, well, my name is Chris, and you don't ever have to worry about not knowing my name. Like, come on, bro. Somebody said
All right, Ralph.
I might have missed the question. Oh, my sister said I missed the question, but uh, how long have you been in your role as a barber? Oh, David said since 2017.
Yeah, January 2017. I graduated December the 4th, and I took my test December the 7th. 3 days after I graduated, I got my license in January.
She said, have you ever thought about hosting your own show? I would love. Dallas does not have a barber expo. We've gone all across the country, right? And there's not one in Dallas. So Dallas is known. It's a thing in Dallas where people feel like they hate on each other. I feel like this most cities, but people feel like you can't have nothing in Dallas. So Dallas has nothing like that, and me being not being from Dallas and living here, I see nothing but opportunity, and I'll definitely take on the responsibility of bringing the city together. I don't care as far as the barbers. Uh,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just don't know the logistics behind all of it because we're talking about throwing a show like an expo type situation here, but I don't even know where to start with all that.
It sounds expensive. Dre
It is.
Clipperhands, that guy, I seen his work before. I think yeah, he's pretty good too. Yeah, man. I'm just to the point now where I still love what I do. I love cutting hair. I love being around clients and talking to people. But sometimes I follow so many barbers now on Instagram that my timeline is flooded. And I've noticed that I go on Instagram, excuse me, less now because of it. So I just get tired of seeing so many haircuts. Like I do it all day long, and then I went ahead and I followed. I did this thing where I'm like, bro, we should whoever's in your city, bro, connect. Why not? So I followed so many barbers and people in barber school. I just told people like, hey, tag 3 barbers, and I'm gonna follow them too. Man, we've been talking too long. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, and I'll follow them too. So I follow so many barbers, and I'm seeing so many bad haircuts, and I was just like, I can't do this no more. So I find myself on Facebook a lot now, cause I'll be like, man, all right, I can't look at no more haircuts. Ring light size 18. Go with 18. Dre from around the way. I don't know who that is. So yeah, man. I want you guys to give a round of applause for my guy, my brother, my partner on the what's it called, on Warzone.
Hey man, I need to get
And,
her. See that thing? I need to get her.
and all
Hey,
that
woo,
hair,
woo.
and he ain't got no hairline. Y'all see that? But
Yeah,
look,
I really don't, man. It's a challenge.
I seen your mama. I seen
Hey
your
man,
mama
first
in
of all,
picture.
put some respect on that, man. I don't like the way you said that.
I said, I seen your mama, bro. You had a picture on Facebook. Was that she was holding
Yeah,
you?
that was my brother.
Yeah, y'all not black. This whole time you been
Man,
faking.
come on.
Say, oh my,
Man,
oh dang. Let me go back. Let me switch cameras. My we done been on so long. My what's the name done died. Let's see. We got to wrap this up. Camera, FaceTime. We going to the FaceTime camera. Yeah, him. Yeah, man. So this whole time you been pump faking. You had me thinking he black. He had the fro going with the struggle, and this whole time this dude Samoan, y'all, and he ain't gonna tell nobody.
man, look, my mom is African American. Both her parents are black. You see all the brothers and sisters? They all black.
Yeah, them was the other kids. I'm talking about the milkman daughter that I seen with
They
all
all
that
got the
long
same
hair.
mom and dad.
Huh?
They all got the same mom and dad. It's
Yeah, that's what
recessive
you
genes,
thought.
man. That's why I
But
know how to cut straight hair. Cause my mom.
nah. I seen your beard. I was like, okay, yeah. I seen your hair on your head. I was like, okay, yeah. Then I seen that picture of your Hawaiian mama, and I was like, see, he been cheating this whole time. So it is what it is.
Oh man.
Let's see if we got any more
Well,
comments before we hop off. We're gonna wrap this thing up, man. I appreciate you guys sticking around that are still here. This was amazing for my first live. I got this like 60 something comments. Zay, I appreciate you. Laura, I appreciate you. Trey, John, all of you guys. AAC, anybody that's still on right now. We got 8 people watching, and yeah, thank you, David, for doing this, man. Like I said, this is Vlogmas, so you guys pay attention to the channel. I'm gonna be posting something every day. It might not be a vlog. It may be something like this, or it may be a tutorial, and it may be me getting a new voice because I've been talking for 2 hours. So, yeah. I love
all right,
y'all,
man.
man. Have a good night. Happy
Yep.
birthday, Jasmine. Miss Ward. All right, I'll holler at y'all.